If you haven't watched Pose, Lizzo's Watch Out for the Big Girls, Rap Shit, Snowflake Mountain, Kindred, or Wakanda Forever, turn this video off and go watch that stuff and then come back. And for the rest of you, this is Charlotte's 2022 online flicks to watch. My recommendations of things you should check out if you haven't checked out, and then also why you should check them out. So stay tuned. All right, y'all know. So I got 10 things here that I wanted to share with y'all. The first one is going to be watch out for the big girls. Watch out for the big girls. Okay, yes, Lizzo's Watch Out for the Big Girls. I absolutely 100% adore this show. Oh, for so many reasons. I love that Lizzo is all about body positivity, all about affirming bigger bodies, but more importantly, about really executing on that concept and that ideal and manifesting it in her life, right? So she said to herself, look, I'm a big girl. I need big girl dancers. And so she went to go look for them, but then the agencies didn't even have any big girls for her to hire. And so she had to figure out her own way to figure out how to rally up, not necessarily rally up, but how to round up all the big girls out there that are amazing dancers. And I love what she did, and I love that, she whittled it down to these 10 women who are amazing. I love the fact that they're all from different backgrounds. They have different stories about how they got into dancing. And in fact, they do have one woman that is trans. And so I love the complexity and diversity of these characters. But more importantly, I just love the fact that you can watch a show that is affirming the bigger body in a magnificent way. As you guys know, I'm all about body diversity in the outdoors, but also about just celebrating bigger bodies as they are. Like, we always feel like, oh, it's got to change. You got to be smaller. No, Lizzo's like, these girls are okay in the body that they're in, and they're able to do amazing things. And they do. So make sure that you take some time out of your busy schedule and watch Lizzo's Watch Out for the Big Girls. Hey, watch out for the big girls, because it is a phenomenal show. And it's the future, y'all. So get over yourselves. It's the future. So the second thing I have on my list is Snowflake Mountain. Now, this is an outdoor show. So I'm all for that, right? I'm all about the outdoors. So this show really I was like, whoa, what y'all trying to do here? What y'all trying to do? So what this show is doing, y'all, this is the deal. Snowflake Mountain is about, I feel a little bad about this, but in this show, what's happening is that some millennials are kind of being tricked into doing this outdoor adventure. In exchange, they could win some money. Now, most of them don't even want to be outdoors, right? Because they millennials, they ain't even trying to do that. They're all about technology. That's their life. But what I love is this cast is super diverse in terms of bodies. So I love that as well. Super diverse in terms of stories and experiences as it relates to the outdoor, many of which really, didn't really care about the outdoors. But what I love so much is the way they engage these young people in different activities in the outdoors, and how by them being outdoors and by them being challenged in this way, and by them overcoming and being successful in their endeavors in these outdoor events and activities, that they learn so much about themselves. And that's always been my thing. It's always been kind of what I've been saying to the world. Like, there's something really amazing in outdoors, and that you got to kind of get out there in order to discover it. That our other mother is nature, and she's amazing. She has some really wonderful gifts for us if we're willing to kind of receive them. So check this show out. I love the transformation arcs of all these characters, every last one of them. Only one gets to win the prize. But the bottom line is that, man, here we are being presented with a show that's showing how the outdoors can help people transform their lives. So check it out and then tell me what you think. I love it. Snowflake Mountain. Okay, this next television networks. What's really interesting about TV nowadays, y'all know I don't really watch a lot of TV, so I'm kind of confused about what's going on. But what I'm loving now is that, yes, we have movies, right? Feature length movies. You can go to the movie theater, and I guess you can stream it online as well. But also, they're taking these stories and doing them in series, and then there's episodes. And that's been, I guess, probably over the last 5 years or so. And it's been interesting watching this dynamic and watching kind of first of all, Octavia Butler, me and my son, Our favorite author is Octavia Butler. We love her. We love her more than we love each other. And we've read all of her books. We talk about all of her books. We really adore her. God rest her soul. And I remember, so one of the things that happened when we went to go watch Kindred, which is the series that I'm recommending that you watch, the first thing we said afterwards was like, we so wish Octavia Butler was still alive to see her book be manifested in a cinematic way. Because I just think, man, what you don't know is that Octavia Butler was the first African-American woman to do sci-fi. And the complexity of the work that and the dynamic and the thought-provoking and the evocative themes that she includes in her books were so progressive, so radical. I mean, she talks about race, she talks about sexuality, she talks about gender, she talks about the future, she talks about alternate realities. And all that stuff really challenge you to think more broadly, to increase your perspective around what is happening in the world and what can happen in the world. And so it really did our hearts good to see Kindred be manifested on the big screen, so to speak. We think she would be proud of this one, although they are taking the liberties, some creative license to make it more currently relevant, because she wrote this book maybe 20, 30 years ago. And so, like, in this book, there's the cell phone. There's no cell phone in her book. But we think that the writers and the producers and the people that brought this particular series together did a good job of kind of making it more culturally relevant so that people can really connect to the content. So I really recommend that you watch Kindred. It is amazing. And if you don't watch Kindred, go read the book, because, hey, I love the book just as much. Now, this next one is a movie that I've been waiting for ever since I went to go see Black Panther. As soon as I walked out of the theater, I'm like, I'm ready for the next one. So I've been waiting for Wakanda Forever since Black Panther. Because first of all, I knew there was going to be another one. And secondly, because I just couldn't get enough. Let me say this about Wakanda Forever. There is nothing more powerful for the mind, body, and soul than to watch a movie that is Black-centric, that cinematically is amazingly beautiful. The costumes are off the chain. The writing is so dynamic, and the storyline and arc is incredible. And to be immersed in that, and to feel the richness and the goodness and the amazingness of Black bodies, man, I didn't want to leave the theater. Me and my son, we sat through all of the screen credits at the end and probably sat for a few more minutes, because Wakanda Forever really is just, I feel like it's just this time and place in our history where, as Black people, as a Black person, I want to be affirmed around my existence, and that's what Wakanda Forever does. But it does a lot of other things too, as I mentioned before. And I really love this movie. I will forever love this movie. And I think a lot of people say, oh, well, they could have did this and that and the other. And my thing is that there's so much so good that the imperfections are not even noticeable. And if you're noticing them, it's because you ain't got nothing else to do. But anyways, check out Wakanda Forever. Loved it. All right. What's the next thing going on my list? Hold on, I'm trying to move the screen. So the next show that that I am recommending is has to do. Let me be honest with you. It's called Rap Shit. It's about these two women who live in Miami and who are trying to break into the rap game. I'm gonna say this. I like this show. It's okay. However, it is millennial. And so there's parts of it I really don't get, or I don't know. It doesn't really resonate with me. I don't really connect. But anything that is affiliated with Issa Rae, I will always support. I will give it mad love. I will give it a chance. I may not love all of it, but it will still be good in my eyesight, because I want to support this sister and I want her to continue to be as creative as she possibly can and keep putting into the canon all this amazing and beautiful work. And if it's more millennial focused, and so be it, because that's the world we're living in right now. And I'm cool with that. But I will say, check out Rap Shit. I think there is a dynamics between these two characters that I so love. because you got the one woman who's like, she's kind of intellectual. She's trying to bring in Black history and kind of like a Black consciousness to rap, while you got this other sister's like, look, she's like really affirming her femininity, her sexuality, and she's like, look, I'm a bad boss bitch, and that's what the fuck I'm gonna tell people, right? Because I think a lot of times that's what people want to hear. And so the combination of the two really makes for some really amazing raps. It really makes for amazing interaction between the two, and in terms of how they're being creative around their art. And so while there's moments when I'm like, I don't really get it, because I think it's more millennial stuff, and I'm an old, OG. I still love the show. I still think it's amazing. I can't wait for the next season to come out. So check it out, guys. Rap shit. All right, this next one. I just want to say this. I'm not a big TV watcher. The reason I stopped watching a lot of TV is because when I would go to watch TV, there was a lot of bullshit on it. And so there's nothing I have really, like, I did this list of 10, but I could have did 40 flicks that you should watch, recommendations, because for the first time in the history, I think, of what we're seeing on television, there is really some real true diversity. And I'm talking about highly complex diversity, and I'm not just talking about racial diversity. And so this next show, which is called Bridgerton, which is about these, old aristocrats, kings and queens and dukes and duchesses and all that kind of stuff. And what I love about the show, let me tell you number one thing I love about Bridgerton, and what I love about the writing of Bridgerton, which I was just mentioning to a friend of mine, is that they write these characters in such a way that there is no intersection of race. Like, there's no, like, it ain't, and I'm like fucking blown the fuck away. Like, what? How is it that you're writing this story, even though these characters are clearly different people of color and white folk, that none of that is part of the story, none of that is a part of their consciousness. So, wow. I'm always like, what? Yeah. And so while this show is very historically based, I think it gives us hope for the future. So check Bridgerton out. I'm still like floored and kind of struggling. Which brings me to the next show, Snowpiercer, which also has the same dynamic where race is not the issue. It is caste. Whatever caste you are in. So Snowpiercer, if you don't know, is this show. It's about the world has frozen over, and there's this train that's moving on this track around I don't know where it's moving around. I don't remember now. But it's moving around like, 2,000 miles or something like that. Anyways, so that's the only place humans live and can live, because if they go outside of the train, they will freeze to death. And so there is this train, and of course there's hierarchies in the train, and then there's people that are on the lower level of the train doing menial work and not getting paid very well, not getting anything to eat and stuff like that. And then there's the aristocrats, the rich folks, right? And it's really about the struggle between the different caste on this train, and how these people that are the lower caste is trying to rebel and take back control of the train, or at least get some control of the train, or at least get some fairness around what it is they get to in terms of what they get on the train as well. So I love Snowpiercer. I love the characters. I love the dynamics of it. I love the writing. And it's one of those shows where race is not an issue, y'all. It's like people are different colors in this show, but there is no consciousness in the story or the characters of race. It is all about caste, which again is another interesting dynamic that I like shows that make me think. And so check Snowpiercer out and tell me what you think, fam, because I'm wondering. Now, okay, this next show that I'm gonna recommend to you, first and foremost, I'm gonna say this: it is the best thing on TV, and the best thing that will ever be on TV. Bottom line, it's called Pose. It's about the Black queer community in New York during the AIDS epidemics during the 80s and the 90s. I lived that. One of the things that I did as a newly out person is I went to Detroit, and so I got really involved in the community, became a community activist, and really worked around HIV and AIDS services and prevention. And very much, there are so many moments in Pose that are identical to a lot of the experiences that I had during that time, which is why I generally cry from the beginning of the show to the end, because it's really triggering all the memories of that time, you know, when really black men were dying of AIDS, and lots and lots. I mean, lots. I mean, I was attending funerals all the time. I was a buddy, so it meant that I went to the hospice and spent time with brothers in their last moments. And so this show, and I went to a lot of balls. Lord knows I went to a lot of balls, but for me, it's really about the energy and the way the world was as it relates to black queerness and HIV and AIDS 25, 30 years ago. And so I love the show. It is the best thing on TV because I think it speaks to my soul. I feel like it's telling my story as well. And I think these characters are amazing. And the number one thing I'm going to say really why I love this show is because Billy Porter, I've known about Billy Porter for many years, probably since the 80s. And to see him get his shine. Yes, there are so many brothers and sisters that deserve to get shine from that era, but it's just nice to see one of them actually get their shine, and I'm so super proud of Billy. So check out Pose, and make it your business to check out Pose, because I want you to all, for all those of you that know me, like, y'all need to be watching Pose so we can have conversations about Pose, because if you don't know about Pose, I don't know. So I'm just saying, do you, but you better check out Pose. Okay, and the last show I'm gonna talk about, it's called A Black Lady Sketch Show. Again, I'm gonna tell you right now, the number one reason why I watch the show is because I know Issa Rae got some involvement in it, but that's all good. It ends up being a very good show. Now, I'm gonna say this about Black Lady Sketch Show. I love it for the most part. Again, it's kind of like rap shit. It's a lot of millennial humor that I don't necessarily resonate with or don't necessarily get, but okay, it's funny. I will say one of my favorite sketches of the Black Ladies sketch show is the one when all the black women are in the courtroom and they're like, Black Ladies Courtroom, Black Ladies Courtroom, Black Ladies Courtroom, and I am like, yes, this is fear. Like, what I loved about that sketch is, like, there are moments when it's just nothing but sisters in the room, like, by accident, and that shit is fierce as fuck. It's like, yes, because it's the one moment when you don't have to explain anything about who and what the fuck you are. You are in the midst of your sisters who understand you and you understand them. So that's one of the sketches I love. There's a lot of them I really love. There was this one about the purge, which is about hair care products. You know, and black women, we be buying stuff to try to, you know, do any and everything to our hair, and then you end up having like 500 products that you can't even use, don't even work, and then to think that there could be a day where you get to actually purge that and get your money back. Love it. So love the Black Lady Sketch Show. There are some sketches and there are some moments that don't resonate with me because I'm not a millennial and I feel like it's more millennial-esque, but I do love the show and it's pretty amazing. Oops, I almost forgot to share with y'all Doubling Down with the Derricos. Oh my goodness, I love this show. I love Doubling Down with the Derricos for a couple of different reasons. Number one is that I had a friend when I was at church. At church, I had a friend. Her name is Mary, and it was a foster family. And in her family, there were 15 kids. Her daddy had children until he had 12 disciples. So there was 12 boys, I believe it's 3 girls. And I used to love going to their house. I love the energy of it. I love that there was people around. You have a lot of different conversations. You had to share shit. You had somebody to do something with. You had somebody to talk to. You had somebody to, it was a beautiful family energy. And considering I come from a small family, it was just me and my brother until about 10 years later, then my sister came along. I came from a relatively small family, and so me and my brother had much different lives, doing different things all the time, and so we weren't necessarily always around each other. And I think me being an oldest, I think being in that bigger family, being in the midst of that bigger family, I used to go over her house after church. I really love the fact that there were so many different people you could talk to. You know, you share food, you cook food, you help with clothing, doing a wash, cleaning up. Like, it's just, man, I really love that. And so I love Doubling Down with Derrico because I love that this man has decided that he wants as many babies as he wants, and that he's a real estate developer, and so he can afford to have as many babies as he wants. So it's not like he's depending on the state or anybody else for that. He is handling his business and handling his family, and there is so much beautiful energy that comes from having all those people around, really. And although him and his mother fuss about it a little bit, I just love, first of all, I just love seeing this beautiful black family, large black family, do so many amazing things, really come through a lot of different challenges, which I suspect is really going to build the character of all these kids, right? They have to witness their siblings going into the hospital, having surgeries, They also have to witness and be a part of understanding that sometimes siblings aren't born. There's miscarriages, or they are born, but then they don't live. And so I love this show for the energy of it. I love this show because I love seeing a black family doing something phenomenal. We don't really get to see that a lot on television. We see a lot of these bigger families on television, but we don't see a lot of black big families on television. And as someone who grew up with a friend who had a big family and I loved going over her house. I loved it. This show really just kind of triggered so many really fond memories of what it might be like to be in a bigger family. So I encourage you guys to watch Doubling Down with the Derricos. Oh my God, they're so awesome. And then also follow them on Instagram because they always do a lot of fun videos and lives on Instagram too. So they keep you keep you abreast of what's going on in their lives in between the seasons, I guess. So yeah, we'll take some time. Thank you guys so much for taking time to hang out with me. I hope you take some time to watch some of these shows and give me your opinion. Tell me what you think. And so with that, I'll say peace and love and take good care of yourself. I'll see you next time. Happy New Year.